So today I'm gonna show you if I can beat the bot of LUK.AI in chess, which has 2500 elo. So let's get right into it. I'm playing this with white pieces. First I just to move my pawn to d4. It moved its knight to f6. So now I can also develop my knight to f3. It moved its pawn to e6. So I should move my knight to c3. And now I should move my bishop to f4. It moved its pawn to c5. So I should capture it with my pawn. It recaptured my pawn with its bishop. So now I should move my pawn to e3. It moved its knight to c6. So I should move my bishop to b5, pinning it to the king. It castled it to the king's side. So I should also castle. It moved its bishop to d7. So now I should move my pawn to a3. And now I should capture this knight with my bishop. It recaptured my bishop with its bishop. So it moved its bishop to d6. So now if I will move my knight to f7, capturing its pawn, it will recapture my knight with its rook, and now I will be able to capture its bishop, but it will recapture. So I should not do it. And by the way, I wasn't going to do it also. So now for this move, knight to c6, capturing its bishop. It recaptured my knight with its bishop. So now I should capture its bishop with mine. It recaptured my bishop with its queen. So now I should move my rook to e1, knight to a4. It moved its rook to d8. So now I should try to attack these 3 pawns, because they are very important for this bot of LUK.AI as castling, because the king is being protected by mainly these pawns. So now to attack into c4, it moved its rook to b8. So pawn on d5 with my pawn. It recaptured my pawn with its pawn. So now I should just calmly move my pawn to h3, preparing a retreat square for my king. It moved its knight to e4. It moved its rook to b5. So now I should move my knight to c3. I should recapture it. It moved its rook to b8. So now if it will move its rook to b1, I'll capture it, will recapture, and I will capture its rook. So now I know that it will not do it. But now still I should just calmly move my pawn to e4. It moved its rook to b2. Now I should move my pawn to e5. It moved its queen to e6. So I should move my queen to d3. It moved its rook to b3. It recaptured my queen with its queen. So I should capture it with my rook. It captured my pawn on c3 with its rook. So now I should check the king with the rook to d8. It moved its king to g7. So now I should move my rook to a8. It captured my pawn on a3 with its rook. So now d8. It moved its rook to a2. Now it is preparing an attack on my pawn on f2. So now I should move my rook to f1, which is a great move. It moved its pawn to a5. It captured its pawn with my rook. It moved its rook to e2. So now it wants to capture my pawn on e5 with its rook. See, like this it can capture, but my rook is protecting it, so it probably won't. And now g1. And now my rook to a5. It moved its rook to d2. So now I should try to get this rook out of here, because then I would be able to capture this pawn on a3 with my rook. But how can I do that? I should just calmly move my king to g2, rook to e1, and now I should move my rook to f1, rook e1. It moved its rook to b2, e6. It captured my pawn with its pawn, so I should recapture it. It moved its king to f7. session move my rook to c6 and 6. It moved its king to f8, 6 check. And now still it captured this free pawn on g6 with my rook. It moved its pawn to a2. So now on h6 with my rook, it moved its rook to d2. It moved its rook to f2 check. It promoted its pawn to a queen, so I should capture it with my rook. It moved its rook to a2, so I should move my rook to b1. It moved its rook to g2 check, so I should move my king to f3. And now my king to g3. It moved its rook to b2, so I should move my rook to a1. And now my rook to b1. But now it was a draw by repetition. So let's just review the game. That is analyzing the game.
A draw? But there were chances to win. Let's rewind and find the missed opportunities.
So let's see which moves we made. None of us made any brilliant moves. I made 4 great moves while it made none. I made 25 best moves while it made 23. I didn't make any mistake, miss or blunder while it made 3 miss and 0 miss or blunder. So now for the opening, middle game and end game. In the opening I did best, it did great. In the middle game we both did great. And in the end game I did great while it did excellent. So now for the yellow, it did 1950, 2350. And now for the accuracy. For the accuracy it did 91.21% and I did 96%. So let's start reviewing. And I will also just let you listen to the coach what it is saying, because it will give a better explanation.
The queen's pawn. A classic start, solid and strategic, right? Your opponent gained control in the center. Are you kidding me? Sheesh. You found the only move. What a find. This is huge. You traded pieces like a pro. Even Steven. Only one good move and you spotted it. Sharp like a tack. You're giving that pawn a VIP security detail? Protection like Fort Knox? You got a free pawn. Nice steal. Smooth like butter. That pawn was hanging out there like a piñata, ready to be smashed. You just snagged a free pawn. That's what I call a bargain. Let's go. That's the only move. And you nailed it. What a find. You dodged that check like Neo in the Matrix. You saw that queen all the way over there. You're snagging it like a boss. You found the only move. What a find. You dodged that rook check like Neo in the Matrix. You are threatening to deliver a ladder mate.
So I hope that you liked the video. Please make sure to like and subscribe. Please comment how you thought the video was. And have a nice day.